The order that we're going in. I have consumer complaint processes. So my name is Hunter Swain. I'm a third-year student at the law school, and I'm going to talk to you about how to make a consumer complaint. Who here has ever had a problem after buying something or with a company like Comcast? I knew how that was going to go. So who has actually lodged a complaint with the government about that? Yeah. See. People don't know how to do that, and the reality is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm going to teach you guys how to be the squeaky wheel, so maybe you can get the grease, and the government might be able to help you to solve your problems. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the reasons why we don't make complaints. A lot of us think, we're too busy, we don't have time to do things like this. Maybe we don't know where to do it, what website to go to, who to talk to. Or we don't think it'll fix anything. I know a lot of people think that. They think if I complain about this that happened, no one's going to do anything. It doesn't matter. But that's not true. Don't worry. Filing a complaint is actually pretty easy if you know where to go, and it can actually help you solve your problems. So there are a lot of places to file a complaint. Here's a list of some of the places I'm going to talk about, and it can be kind of confusing. All the government agencies, they overlap with each other. People don't know where to go. But I'm going to talk about different places to go for different types of complaints and how to do it. But first things first. Before you file a complaint, it's always best to talk to the company first. Sometimes if you talk to them, they'll actually help. And I want to tell you a little story about that. A couple weeks ago, I was having some problems with my internet service from Comcast. It kept coming on and off. It really wasn't working. So I got on the phone, I called them up, and I just asked, nicely asked, can you refund part of my bill? And they did it. They gave me about $30 back. And I don't think a lot of people think to do that. They think, well, I'm just getting screwed over by this company and there's nothing I can do about it. But sometimes they actually will help. Before you decide to file a complaint, here's some things you should do. First thing, whatever your problem is, you should sit down and think about what it is and write down what you're having a problem with. You should also think about what you want to say when you file a complaint. I know a lot of us, when we get on the phone, it's hard to think about what's going on, and it really helps to just have some notes, something you can look at to remind yourself what you want to say. When you have someone on the phone, try to remember, you should be calm and respectful. You'll get a lot further being nice with people, but be firm. It's easy to get the runaround if you get on the phone, and these people are trained to get you off the phone. So you need to be specific with your problem. A lot of people, when they file a complaint, they're mad, they're frustrated, and they end up talking a lot, but the people on the other end don't know exactly what the problem is. So try to explain specifically what your problem is. And before you file a complaint, just try to think about what it is that you want. A minute ago, I said that when people get on the phone, they're not specific enough. One thing they're not specific about is what they want out of it. Do you want a refund? Do you want a replacement product? Some kind of reduction in your bill, like I talked about a moment ago with Comcast. That kind of thing, if you ask for it, they'll know a lot better what to give you. And I wanted to say, if any of you have any questions or anything, feel free to interrupt me, raise your hand. This is kind of an interactive thing. So the first place I want to talk about that you can file a complaint is the Colorado Attorney General's office. The Attorney General, it's part of the government. They're there to enforce the laws of the state. And you can file a complaint for basically any kind of problem you have with a business. Here's a list of them. Some of my colleagues are going to be talking about specific things, but the list goes on. And anytime you have a problem with a business, the Attorney General's office is a good place to start. At the end of my slides, I have a list of the websites for each place that I'm going to talk about. I think it's on the second or third page of your handout there. So You know, if you want to file a complaint with any of the places I talked about, you can click to that. So throughout the presentation, I'm going to keep reminding you, it's always good to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office, even if you do it somewhere else. They're here to enforce the laws of the state of Colorado, and they care about consumers. So I'll keep reminding you, the Attorney General is a good place to start. If you have a problem with real estate company, the appraiser for your home, the people that gave you your mortgage, a homeowners association, this is a good place to start. The Colorado Division of Real Estate. Part of the problem with the Division of Real Estate is a complaint with them will only work if the person has actually broken the law. And it's hard to know whether someone's broken a law or not. Sometimes they're just being mean or unfair, but what they're doing is legal. So, you know, if you're not sure, you might want to talk to a lawyer. It's always good to file a complaint with the Attorney General, because even if the person hasn't actually broken a law, but they're being unfair or they're treating consumers badly, the Attorney General's office will get involved. The next place I want to talk about is the Federal Trade Commission. This is part of the federal government, and it was founded a long time ago, about 100 years ago, to try to eliminate false advertising, deceptive marketing, misleading information, and fraud. When the FTC was founded, false advertising was a really bad problem. And things have gotten better, but still, some companies do things the wrong way sometimes. So, if you file a complaint with the FTC, they're not going to actually help you resolve the complaint. But it's still a good thing to do anyway, because they gather information about companies that are doing bad things, and they share it with other parts of the government to make sure that the company can't keep getting away with doing a bad thing like that, like having a false advertisement, for example. Like I said a minute ago, it's always a good idea to file with the Attorney General's office too. They're more likely to actually get involved and help you try to resolve it. The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, is also part of the federal government. And they were founded to regulate telephone, TV, radio, internet companies, things like that. So when you have a problem with Comcast, like I did, the FCC might be a good place to start. You know, if you have problems with a company like that, or you're getting harassing phone calls all the time, not by a debt collector, but just by telemarketers, the FCC is a good place to file a complaint. They do have authority to sue companies like that, but they move pretty slowly. It's still a good place to file a complaint though, because they gather information, they share it, and they actually can sue a big company if they get enough complaints. If nobody complained about things that happen with a company like Comcast, they'd be able to keep doing it forever. So it's always good to file a complaint just so the government knows what's happening. Maybe they'll get involved.
Are most of these complaint processes these days fairly easy to just fill out something online?
They are, yeah. Like I said, there's a page in the back of my slides that has all the websites, and most of them, some of them are easier than others, but most of them are, it has a box that you can just type in what your complaint is, and sometimes you'll be able to check different types of complaints, like fraud or false advertising or something. But most of them are pretty easy, and you know, you could do it in 5 or 10 minutes.
That's a great question, thank you, and please do ask questions. And it doesn't cost anything, right?
No, it doesn't cost anything to file a complaint with any of these organizations, and it's pretty quick and easy. And you know, I think it can just kind of make you feel better to know that somebody else has heard about it. Even if the government doesn't get involved, just kind of the feeling that they know about it can make you feel better. I know it does when I have a problem, just to tell someone else about it. I know that's maybe not satisfying to hear, but...
Well, and it's great because then you're creating a paper record for if anything escalates, it becomes larger, then you do have a record of that shows that you were taking that as a show.
That's true.
Can you speak to how these different entities relate back after they receive a complaint?
Sure. Some of them won't relate back at all.
Right.
Often the Attorney General's office they'll look into the matter and see, kind of try to investigate. They have a whole team of lawyers that investigate things like this. And I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but no, if you file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, for example, sometimes they'll send the complaint to the Attorney General's office on your behalf, and so they share information back and forth. And like for example, my girlfriend's parents were out here in Colorado on vacation, and they signed up with a shuttle service. The shuttle never came and picked them up, and when they contacted them, they said, "Too bad," you know. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? So her parents filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau, and they forwarded the complaint to the Attorney General's office, and the Attorney General called her parents and asked for more information about it. They were investigating it. So it kind of depends what your complaint is about and whether there might actually be something illegal going on. But sometimes they'll call you or they'll email you or send you a letter. So it depends. But yes.
I'd just like to bring up, I'm from the District Attorney's Office and the Consumer Division.
Yes.
And I'd like to say that anybody here and in Boulder County can file a complaint with us. And if we can't handle it, or if a state agency is better to handle it, we will refer that complaint. But we're right here in Boulder. We're free. We have a website. You can get our online complaint form. And you can use us even before you go to the Attorney General. And many times the Attorney General will refer it back to us because you are from Boulder County and we have a consumer office. So it's not up here, but we are a really great complaint center to handle complaints.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
That's what we do.
I apologize for not putting it on the slides. But
Okay.
yeah, that's a great place to start with the Boulder District Attorney.
And we will refer it to all the different sites that you have with the different agencies. But if you don't know where to go to complain, please call us. And I can give you a number sometime, but call us, and if there's a state agency that's better handle it, we will refer you and give you the number of the website. But we're right here. We're right at the Justice Center.
Can you share what the website is?
You guys can also, share that, but if you contact me, I can easily refer you into this department as well. They're part of the county.
Okay, it's bouldercounty.org, all little letters all together, /DA. That'll get you through the Boulder County's website, huge website, right to the District Attorney's office. You'll see a picture of Stan Garnett, and under his picture is a listing of all of our departments. Click on Community Protection, and that'll take you right to our site, and right up at the top is an online complaint form. But it's bouldercounty.org/DA, and our number is 303-441-3700, and you can ask for us. Okay, I just wanted to get that in so that you knew that we're right here in Boulder.
No, thank you. I missed out on that. And it goes to show, there's so many places to complain, it's hard to even find them. So, do you have a question?
I just want to say thank you, because that was one of my questions is, are there really people there? When you send an email into somewhere and you never get a response, I think, okay, it's just a dump file somewhere and nobody's ever going to see it.
Yes,
so
if you call us,
thank you.
We are always there for on the phone. Our thing is to call you back within moments. I mean, sometimes you get agencies that answer the phone will call you back in 48 hours, and we go, 48 hours? So we feel bad if it's 15 minutes that we haven't called somebody back. So call us, and we'll listen to your complaint and figure out what you should do with it.
Thanks. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, is a brand new federal agency created by the Obama administration, and they're there to regulate financial products like credit cards, loans, things like that. Do you have a question?
I'm glad to see that, because I was just recently a victim of fraud on both my credit union and bank, and with a family. But what I mean, the bank itself, what the person did is that they called the credit union over the phone and just gave a little piece of information, not much, and they had them overnight my bank card to their address in Aurora. And they were able to take over $600 out of my account, just like that. And in dealing with the credit union, which is the largest credit union in the nation, they said you know, they said, well, sorry, it was a family member, we can't do it. And so if it had been someone else, you know, they might have taken more action, but as a family member, I have to have it, not them. And they made it too easy. Now with the actual bank, then whenever I call, whenever you call to have a card sent to a different address, they put you through the ringer. I mean, you have to answer questions for like 20 years ago that I didn't know some answers to.
Yeah.
And so I told the credit union, I said, this is absurd that you make it so easy for someone to be able to get a card sent to a completely different address, not even my file. All you had to do is have my name, last 4 digits of my social, an address, and my date of birth. 4 things that were too easy for them to use. And so I've been very disgusted with the credit union because they made it way too easy, easier than the bank was.
And you know, thank you. Actually, I feel your pain because I had my identity stolen this year after my first. And we have a person, we're going to have an entire presentation talking about identity theft and a whole presentation on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, precisely because it's so rampant. So I hope you're going to be here all day, you know, to hear these. Yeah, because of my own, because it's totally near and dear to my heart right now.
Well, what was so absurd is that they, with me filing with the DA's, filing with the officer a report, and then it's going to get reverted to the DA's office. Then, so therefore, they're going to, the credit union going through all of that is going to refund my money back to the account temporarily. But there's like $40 that they haven't put back in. And those are the fees that they use to send the card to the person. And how crazy is that? I mean, of all the things that I got in my account, the fees you charge to send that card to that person. So I'm having to fight for that $40.
Oh, yes. Well, and we can talk at break, but because we're going to actually have people talking just about here's what you do with identity theft and talking more about that. Because we're sort of running a little short on time.
Sorry.
No,
actually,
that was
really
great. Believe me.
I just discussed it with the credit union. They could have done better.
Yeah, you say the word identity theft around me and like my hair starts to stand straight up. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. For the CFPB, you should file a complaint on their website. Their website is actually one of the easiest ones to use, I think. They made it really simple for people to go and just file a quick complaint. When you do that, they'll forward your complaint to the company, and they try to help you work it out with the company. Sometimes that doesn't work. Like I said earlier, if you think they might have broken the law, you should talk to the Boulder County DA's office or the State Attorney General. Finally, the Better Business Bureau. It's a nonprofit organization. They're not part of the government, but actually they sometimes help people get things done. Like I said earlier, they will forward complaints back and forth with the Attorney General's office, district attorneys, and the BBB really cares about trying to foster trust between consumers and companies. And so they really care about trying to help people resolve their complaints. They focus mainly on false advertising, but you can file a complaint with them about anything. They accept complaints against all businesses, even ones that aren't a member of the organization. So this is a good place to file. Here's the list of websites. You have them in your packet, and I believe she gave you the address for the Boulder County DA's office. And then just a couple other resources. General information, that's from the federal government, but this has kind of general information about how to file a complaint. Here's just some interesting stats I thought were interesting about complaints filed last year with the Attorney General's office. They were up, I think, about 70%. So it looks like people are really starting to figure out how to do it, and I think that's a good thing. And finally, here's a link to our blog that Professor Schmitz told you about at the beginning. It's worth checking out. There's some interesting stuff on there.
Is that the Consumer Tips blog?
It is. And thanks for listening. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
One thing, they had a big thing about the CBD, I think it was Dateline in 2020, about a year or two ago. Did anyone see that?
I didn't see it.
Oh, wow. It made me a little questionable about them as a whole, because they didn't put them in a great light regarding how how they monetarily, how they go after companies, and how they kind of maybe aren't on the up as people think they are. I mean, it was very shocking to see some of that information they were putting out there for the BBB.
Right, and I have to tell you, thank you for bringing, the truth that none of these are perfect.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and the Chamber of Commerce, all these things, they'll take fees for, and I've seen those.
Yeah.
And first of all, media, nothing wrong with Dateline,
Yeah.
some of it's true,
Yeah.
but you have to take some of it with a
Right.
grain of salt. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I've worked through these different processes with the BBB and know some of the folks there who do this kind of dispute resolution on behalf of consumers. And a few bad apples doesn't spoil a whole bunch of other things. But I think that there are some bad, but there are some good.
Yes.
And like Hunter said, the truth is at least trying really makes a difference. And the BBB oftentimes is able to get back to you. DA's office is awesome. You know, all these different resources, and it's worth it because if you take that time and do it, like Hunter said, I think it's at least worth a shot. Is it perfect? No. Is some of it true in Dateline? Probably a lot, but not, you know, it's a great TV show, but, you know, it's a TV show.
I think we had a question in the back.
No, just one addition, and that is that if you might have some sort of a dispute with an attorney, physician, hospital, etc., and so on, there are a number of businesses and professionals that are regulated by the Department of Regulatory Agencies with the state of Colorado, and that is your primary complaint point for disputes with those professions
Right, they'll
or
link you
industries.
to the State Bar Association and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right?
And the licensing authority, that's a
So again, that's DORA, D-O-R-A, and it's Department of Regulatory Agencies under the State of Colorado website.
Yeah, thanks for adding that.
And if you call us, we'll tell you exactly the number to call.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Hunter.
I don't know.